The topic of today's discussion is A.G. Gardiner's famous essay titled On the Rule of the Road, which is prescribed in a syllabus of compulsory English. First of all, we will take a consideration of the life and works of a famous English essayist, A.G. Gardiner. Alfred George Gardiner is a full name of A.G. Gardiner. He is a renowned British author, newspaper editor, and an English journalist. He was born on June 2, 1865, in a city, Chelmsford, in United Kingdom, and died on March 3, 1946. In his early life, A.G. Gardiner started working at the Chelmsford Chronicle and the Bournemouth Directory. Later on, Gardiner joined the Northern Daily Telegraph and Blackburn Weekly Telegraph in its editorial team. He wrote essays under the pet name Alpha of the Plough. His most famous works include Prophets, Priests and Kings, Pillars of Society, The Warlords, Pebbles on the Shore, Windfalls, Leaves in the Wind, The Anglo-American Future, What I Saw in Germany, Letters from Germany and Austria, Life of George Cadbury, The Life of Sir William Harcourt, Many Prose, John Bain and the Progressive Movement, Portraits and Portents, and Certain People of Importance. In his essays that he has penned, A.G. Gardiner presents a very common issues in day-to-day life of British people. He also projected the socio-political, intellectual, economic, and religious issues and problems of contemporary British society. What is more common in the essays of A.G. Gardiner is the day-to-day activities in the life of the English people, a very common experiences in their life that he has projected in his essays. One of the essays prescribed in our syllabi under the title On the Rule of the Road is extracted from his anthology titled Leaves in the Wind. It was published under the nickname Alpha of the Plough. The essay deals with a very important theme of importance of our adherence to law and order. It talks about how law and order is very important in society. There is an urgent need to follow the rules and regulations of the rule of the road. Appropriate and civilized behavior of a common man is essential in society, and there is a necessity of certain restrictions on individual liberty in order to keep others' freedom safe in society. The essay also depicts fundamental difference between individual and social liberty, and it proposes the need of some restrictions on individual liberty for the betterment of society. A.G. Gardiner in this essay differs social liberty from individual liberty. He makes a clear-cut difference between individual liberty and social liberty by citing many instances. At the outset of the essay, Gardiner defines the concept of liberty and especially individual liberty. He also makes a point very clear at the outset of the essay how individual liberty is different from social liberty and how it should not intervene in social liberty. Gardiner gives A very common example of a fat old woman who is walking in the middle of the road instead of the pavement. It was pointed out to her that the pavement was the place for foot passengers and not for her walking. At that time, she replied, I am going to walk where I like. We have got liberty now. So this answer of the old lady is confused one, because such kind of liberty, such kind of individual liberty has not given to any individual in society. If such liberty has given to the old fat woman, then such liberty has also given to a car driver or a taxi driver or a truck driver to to walk on the pavement instead of the main road. And if it happens, as the old woman will walk on the main road and the vehicles will run on the pavement, individual liberty would become social anarchy according to A.G. Gardiner. So, what is more important according to A.G. Gardiner is individual liberty would have become social anarchy in such critical situation. That is the reason why A.G. Gardiner states that liberty would be a universal chaos, and in such critical situation, nobody will reach to his destination. Everybody would be getting in everybody else's way, and nobody would get anywhere. Is the concluding remark that A.G. Gardiner has made while deliberating the example of old woman. The second example which A.G. Gardiner quotes in the essay is of the traffic policeman. When the policeman stand on the chalk, especially Piccadilly Circus, which is a name that A.G. Gardiner has cited, and when he stands in the middle of the road and puts up his hand, he is a symbol not of tyranny but of liberty. But some of the passengers feel that their liberty has been outraged by the traffic policeman. And they also ask a question, how dare this fellow interfere their free use of the public highway? Then if you are a reasonable person, if you are a rational person, you will not ask such kind of question to the traffic policeman. You will reflect that if he did not present there, incidentally interfere with you, he would interfere with no one, and the result would be that Piccadilly Circus would be a maelstrom that you would never cross at all, and there will be accident. So what is more important according to Gardiner is the place of the traffic policeman in the chalk who curtails individual liberty which interfere in the social liberty. Gardiner says that curtailment of private liberty in order to enjoy a social order is more important, and hence Gardiner makes a clear-cut point that liberty is not a personal affair only but a social contract. It is an accommodation of interest according to Gardiner. In matters which do not touch anybody else's liberty, then there is individual liberty. And A.G. Gardiner gives different examples of personal liberty, such as if you want to put a short hair or a long hair, it's your individual liberty. If somebody wants to walk with barefoot, nobody will ask you a question because it's your individual liberty. If he wants to make a dye to your hair, it's your individual liberty. If he wants to make your mousy long, or if you want to wax the mousy, nobody will ask you a question. If you wear a tall hat, nobody will ask you a question. If you wear funny clothes, and walk on the road, the people will laugh, but they will not ask you a question. In the matters of eating, in the matters of early or late sleeping, in the matters of religion to follow, nobody will ask you a question, because all these examples are beautiful examples of individual liberty and not of the social liberty. Nobody will object on your personal affairs, because you have full freedom that has been given to enjoy so far as personal or individual liberty is concerned. Gardiner states that one can enjoy individual freedom, but it should not interfere in others' freedom. Gardiner's point is very clear in all these examples, that a person can enjoy individual liberty as he or she wishes, but such freedom should be in the limit of an individual person.